Hey, good morning. This is episode 14 of Money Matters. And boy, I'll tell you what, I got a little bit of a beef today. I'm kind of mad. I'm angry because I just feel like it's taking too long. So I'm just getting this off my chest, Monty. These interest rates got to come down soon. I mean, it's so frustrating, and I know we got a lot to talk about, but my patience is wearing thin, and my clients, they want to hear that the interest rates are coming down. So anyway, just thought I'd start with that this morning. Good morning, Monty. How are you?
Yeah, good morning. I appreciate you putting that on me, America. It's my fault. I just want to own up to that these rates haven't calmed down yet. You heard it first. David Berry said Monty Felts is to blame for high interest rates. So yeah.
And Terry, what are you doing back there in Central Florida? What's going on down there?
Well, I always thought it was the Fed's fault and the fact that Congress can't stop spending money. But now it's nice to know that Monty Felts is the reason that interest rates have remained high all this
Yes.
time,
Yeah.
and people can't afford to buy houses anymore. So thank you, David, for clarifying that.
Mm.
Well, good morning to all of our California members. And obviously, we're just joking a little bit, and there's a lot of news. There's always a lot of things happening. And this is our most popular show. We have several shows for all of our members. We are your resource for leaving California and welcome to America, having a new lifestyle and, enjoying life and enjoying freedom. And so let's jump right in and let's talk about what's going on. And Monty, what do you have for us today?
Well, we have some interesting news. We have the media calling for a housing crisis. So are we headed for a housing crisis? Is that about to be the next challenge after high interest rates? Then is everything going to bottom out? I would say no, but let's look at the data and see what we saw in the past week. Three main things came out in the past week that we want to look at. One was home prices. They're still gaining. They're still really strong. CoreLogic's home price index showed that home prices nationwide rose about 0.3% in June, after 0.6% in May, 1.1% in April, 1.2% in March. So that appreciation is slowing, as you can tell, but it is still remaining really strong. Prices are also about 4.7% higher when compared to June of last year. CoreLogic is forecasting that those home prices will rise 0.3% in July and then 2.3% in the year going forward, though their forecasts tend to be conservative. So that's all still really, really good for this year's appreciation. ICE, used to be called Black Knight, they also reported that the national home values rose 0.2% in June after the seasonal adjustment, and their index shows that prices are 4.1% higher than they were a year ago. So what's the bottom line there? It's that CoreLogic and ICE are not alone in their reporting. As home prices are gaining, they've also seen other major indices saying the same thing. Case-Shiller said the same thing. FHFA, Federal Housing Finance Agency, said the same thing. All of them are showing that housing still proves to be a great investment for wealth creation.
Well, you know what? Since Monty, since this is our most popular show, and
Hmm.
I want to, maybe some people are just watching our show for the first time today. One of the
Yeah.
things that I'm sure some of our members must be thinking is why believe Monty Felts? Why should they believe you? And there's so many different people. Don't most people make a narrative that fits their needs and fits what they want for their life? Or why should they listen to you? And maybe you can share with somebody that's new to the show and explain to them where you get your facts from and why Monty Felts is an expert, which you are, by the way, and we really are lucky to have you. So please explain.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Wow. This is like Trial of Monty Phelps. I love it. I am not making this up. This is not coming from me. I want to be, yeah, abundantly clear about that these are reports. This is data that comes out every week. We just put it together into one place so that we can report it to all of our leaving California members, or all of our Life After California members. In any and all of those people, we want them to be informed. And so we see ourselves more as the messengers of truth, of data, bringing it to you, but we still encourage you to read it for yourself, make your own decisions. You know your family, you know what works best for you. Yes, I am in the top 1% of lenders in the nation. Yes, I am coached by the best of the best to be really good at getting loans done in all 50 states. I do take that very seriously, but that doesn't mean that my opinion matters more than somebody else's. I'm not bringing my opinion every week. What we're bringing is data so that you can build your decisions based on what we're actually seeing with home prices. Or in the next segment, what we're talking about, this housing crash, is that where we're headed towards? We want to bring you the data. Why would the media be saying that? What is making them claim that that
Mm,
is what's coming next?
right. And Terry, what are your thoughts? I mean, I know we talked about this a lot, Terry, and I talk to Terry probably every day. We're so lucky to have Monty. What are your thoughts, Terry?
Well, I see what CNBC published today, which was that more people who are making $200,000 or more are moving from blue states to red states. Now, CNBC is no fan of red states. We know it's a leftist organization. No offense to them, but that's what they are. They certainly don't promote the fiscal responsibility that goes on in southern states. But they just said today that more people are moving from blue states who make $200,000 a year or more. Now, think about it. Those people have also experienced 20% inflation over the last 3 or 4 years. What they're doing is they're saying, hey, why am I paying tens of thousands of dollars a year in state taxes when I can move to a red state that has no state income tax, Texas, Tennessee, Florida, and I don't have to pay state income tax? I can make the same money because I can work virtually. And let's also address this too. What are they also saying? They're saying, well, look, all right, so we're going to pay $4,000 a year in homeowners insurance. Well, we're already paying $6,000 a year in California in homeowners insurance because of the wildfires. So it's a net huge gain for them to move to these red states. And to add to your point, David, Monty doesn't make that up. CNBC is the one who published that. Monty's using federally issued Bureau of Labor Statistics, all these organizations, that is not saying, they're not trying to sugarcoat anything. They're just speaking facts.
Right. Well, and Monty, again, thank you. It's not a trial. I want to be clear with our members, and I want them to know who we are, and that's really
Sure.
important. And I've shared this before on our show, and I'll share it again. I taught martial arts for 35 years. I've been focused on the real estate world solely for 5 years, and I feel like I'm an educator. Terry for sure is an educator, and people actually call Terry Gilliam our founder, and they look him up and they want to put him on their shows. And he is an expert on people that are leaving California and why are they leaving. So we are educators, and that's what we do each week. So with that said, Monty, what else do you have for us this week?
Yeah, well, I wanted to also add that we've got the statistics behind what we're talking about here. As far as the mortgage company goes, we are the number one retail mortgage company in the nation. So one in every 37 loans we're doing nationwide. So we also have our own data to be able to say, what are people doing? And we have those trends. So the big headline was, are we headed towards a housing crisis? A crash? Is that what's coming? The reason that the media is saying this, it's a misunderstanding due to the rising housing inventory. Our active listings in July, they rose 5.3% from June, and they're up about 37% when compared to a year ago.
Mhm.
So some of the media reports are claiming that that increase in inventory could lead to a housing crash, but they're taking these figures out of context, and the context is crucial here. The increases that we saw last month are from very low levels, as active listings are still down about 30% from the pre-pandemic totals that we saw in July of 2019. So the inventory build that we've seen this year has only been very, very concentrated. And there's four states that have higher inventory levels than 5 years ago. And those states are Texas, Idaho, Florida, and Tennessee. Those are the only four. So this is compared to some parts of the Northeast where active listings are down 65 to 75% over that same period. So that context matters. In addition to this, the seasonal inventory building into the summer months That's a normal pattern that we see every single year due to kids getting out of school. Parents want to get that move done, of course, when school is not in session. So the bottom line to all this is the inventory is still tight comparatively, and it's going to likely start to decline heading into the fall just due to normal seasonality. We don't want to make more of it than it is. But here's the big but. Demand is going to increase as the rates go down. You're going to see that number we always talk about here, 1% rate drop, 5 million new buyers on the market. That's going to happen. So overall, this situation remains supportive of home prices. But yeah, we're not heading for a housing crash. It's just the media loving to stir the pot.
Well, there you heard it from our expert Monty Felts, and let's even dive down a little bit deeper. And Monty Felts deals with all of the states. He has to
Mhm.
stay in tune, so that's why it's so great to have Monty because he can help you and connect you to whatever state you're leaving to. But for our members, Monty, that are watching the show and that are sitting in California right now, maybe you could speak directly to our members and let them know, they're trying to figure out what they need to do. So, what advice would you give to our members this week?
Hmm. Great question. I think it would be the same as what we've said in the past, but I'll say it again. Now is a great time to look at those other states, look at those cities. We did the Southern Freedom Tour a few months ago. We featured a lot of these states. There's great places, Greenville, Knoxville, Morristown. We went to Franklin, Charlotte. Y'all went to so many places, and I got to join you on some of them. There is life outside of California. You've just got to be brave enough to first look under the hood and see what does it look like, and then second, to take that leap of faith and to go do it. I believe this is our last chance. This month that we are walking into right now is really your last chance at getting what we've been offering for the last couple of years. Great deals on houses, able to negotiate on seller concessions, prices, all of that. Once these rates start dropping, it's going to change. Doesn't mean it's worse. It's just going to change. So it could be a little disorienting if you've been considering making a move. I would tell you go ahead and make that phone call. Let's discuss it so that we can see what would it look like now. We can also predict with relative certainty what it's going to look like as demand increases. What if rates drop? What will that do? And how much does a price increase on a house affect you versus the rates going down a little bit? So yeah, I would just say take that first step, make that call. And we do feel confident about this for another reason. That the third headline for today, David and Terry, was the unemployment. And so that those claims are still very elevated. They're not as high as they were. The highest levels that we saw of the year were the last time we reported this. The initial jobless claims did fall 17,000 in the latest week. And so we got 233,000 people filing for unemployment benefits for the first time. The continuing claims did rise, though, by 6,000. And we've still got that 1.875 million people that are continuing to claim for unemployment after the first time. So both the initial and the continuing claims have trended higher this summer when compared to the start of the year. Those continuing claims topped out at 1.8 million, as we said, each week since the start of June. And that shows that the pace of these layoffs over the last 2 months had picked up at the same time that employers have slowed down on hiring. So this sentiment was also echoed by the ZipRecruiter report last week in their second quarter earnings call. Ian Siegel, he's their co-founder and CEO, he said, this was his quote, "As we look toward the second half of 2024, we continue to navigate challenging labor market conditions. Per the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that's the BLS report we talk about, seasonally adjusted hires have declined every month on a year-over-year basis since August of 2022. The quit rate has fallen 9% below the average rate in 2019. So the data combined suggests that we're seeing a steady weakening in the labor market, and that will lead to lower interest rates.
Let me touch upon that real quick. So I think that as we head into this election, I think in September, the Fed is going to lower interest rates, either a quarter or half point. They're going to say, look, the labor market is slowing down, just as you said. And I find it interesting that last week, Monty, you reported just now that initial claims were down That was a massive headline on CNBC. Oh my gosh, the economy is turning around because we know who they want to be president next
Yeah,
time.
right.
But yet ongoing claims continue to rise. The stock market took a huge dump last week. Now, granted, it came back a little bit, almost, a little bit. But I think the Fed is going to want to juice the economy so that all the headlines will say, hey, the Fed's dropping rates. Everything's going to be just fine. The reality is that people are going to start, as we get closer to the election and the chaos that ensues starting in November through whoever the next president is, I think there's going to be a lot of chaos out there. Interest rates are going to be dropping. You know what they're going to say? Rates are down. We should start this process. No, now today is the time to call Monty to start the process so that when you see that things are falling apart in some of these states, you've got your ducks in a row and you can move forward with a plan that has a strategy behind it that is going to let you move on your timeline, not get into a panic in December and say, oh my gosh, the country's falling apart or California's falling apart. We got to get out of here. Call Monty and say, I need to move tomorrow. No, you want to get your plan in order now. Call Monty now. Even if you're moving a year from now, 5 years from now, I don't care. Call Monty now and get your ducks in a row so you've got a strategy in place so that when it comes time to move, you can move.
The reason I was laughing and smiling, Terry, is before you started speaking, I was going to say, Terry, I know that some of our members are, they're on the fence and they're not sure, but maybe some of our members are just waiting. They're waiting to see when California is going to get better and when it's going to turn around. So, Terry, when is that going to happen? When is it going to get better in California?
Gosh, I said in 2000 that if it doesn't get better, I'm leaving. And boy, is it. Yeah, it's a pipe dream. The producers and the voters who are going to help turn things around are leaving. They're not going to be there to vote. Who votes in California elections? You walk past the cemeteries, they're doing ballot harvesting. You walk past the homeless camps, they're doing ballot harvesting. That's the model for the rest of the country and why they want to change things. So I don't see things turning around in California. And I wish they would. It's a beautiful state. But I just don't see that happening anytime soon. In fact, they just announced they want to put a $20 billion bond effort for schools on the ballot in November, which is going to cost $40 billion. They've got failing schools, and the answer to everything in California is just to throw a ton of money at it, which hasn't worked out at all. So I think it's just going to continue to fail out there.
Well, before I close and ask you to like and subscribe to our channel, I want to turn it back over to Monty for some closing thoughts. And again, this is episode 14. We love sharing all this information with you every week. We are here to serve you guys. We're here to give you information, and we're here to help you have a stressful life and a stressful relocation. So in closing, Monty, what are any closing thoughts today on our show?
Yeah, I want to show something. If you'll let me share my screen, I'm going to show one thing for our listeners to be able to see what's the cost of waiting really look like for somebody looking to buy a house at about 750,000 right now. Even if rates were at 7.5%, which they're not, and even if rates 1 year from now drop to 4.99, which I don't think they will drop that low, but even if they did, I've been super conservative here. The amount of money that you would lose in waiting is about $84,000. I know that's shocking, but let me explain what this will tell you. It tells you that if home prices go up 7.5% from right now, August of 2024 to August of 2025, which I think we have substantiated over the past few weeks, and even again today, that home prices are going up at that rate. They will go up by 7.5% in the next year. When rates are starting to drop, they should go up even higher. But even if they only went up 7.5%, even if you got a rate at 4.99 instead of a rate today at 7.5, you would be behind 1 year from now, $84,000. So nearly six figures from buying today at 7.5 and then just refinancing in the future when the rates go down. Your value in your house would have gone up. You would be way better off. Your payment would be $3,842 after you refinanced versus where it would be at $4,107 if you had waited till that point and been able to buy with a 4.99 interest rate. So if we want to do a deeper dive on this in future segments, we certainly can, but I wanted to leave everybody with some real data so that you would know it's dramatic, it's real. This is not our opinion. This is math. And we are desperately asking you to make the right decision. Leave California, go to one of these beautiful places. You'll thank us. We'll send you our home addresses. You can send us a gift, no problem. But really, it's for you. It's not for us. It really is. Please, please make that decision this week. Coming in on Tuesday, tomorrow, the producer price index, PPI, that measures the wholesale inflation. And then Wednesday, we're going to get CPI. That's the Fed's favorite measure of inflation. Thursday, we're going to get some jobless claims. It's going to be a good week. Next Monday should be very interesting to download on all of that, what it does for the market.
Did you have something you want to add, Terry?
Nope. That all makes sense. I'm looking forward to getting those reports, and again, thanks, Monty, for all your help with helping educate people on trends and what they should be looking at. And looking at, I love this. It's all math. It's not opinion. It's math, and I appreciate that.
And to our members out there, please, and Monty, that was awesome. I think that was the first time that Monty has tons of resources. Like, he has literally hundreds of documents like that. If you like that from our show, we've been asking you to please like and comment and tell us what you want, because Monty can provide it and we can put that in our show. So I'm going to ask you again, like I do every week, please like, subscribe, and share with people so that they can at least get the facts. And we're experts at this. We do this every day of our lives, so we can definitely help you. So hit that like button for our YouTube channel. And again, if you need to get a hold of me, I'm at David Berry, or Las Vegas at davidberryrealtor.com. You can reach me and I can give you the contact information for Terry or for Monty. We want to hear from you. Thanks so much. And by the way, guys, I almost forgot. I'm going to be in the Caribbean Ocean on the Carnival Magic next Monday for our show. So I may have a different background than Las Vegas next week. So we'll see you out on the high seas. Have a great week, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.